Welcome to the Betting Pros PGA podcast. I'm Pat Fitzmaurice along with Bo McBrayer. We've got a betting preview of the 3M Open on tap for today. It's the second to last event on the PGA Tour calendar before the FedEx Cup playoffs. But first, let's quickly touch on the final major of the year, the Open Championship. Scottie Scheffler is your champion golfer of the year. He wins the Open in a runaway at Royal Portrush. Scottie opened with a 68 on Thursday and was one shot behind the pack. He grabbed the 36-hole lead with a sterling round of 64 on Friday. He stretched that lead to 4 with the 67 on Saturday. Then he birdied 3 of his first 5 holes on Sunday to effectively grab the claret jug with both hands. Scottie's only hiccup on Sunday was a double bogey on the 8th hole when he had some trouble with a fairway bunker. But by then his cushion was so big that not even a crooked number could introduce some drama to the proceedings. Harris English finishes second, 4 shots back. Chris Gotterup, who had won the Scottish Open a week earlier, he finished solo third at Royal Portrush. Haotong Li, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Wyndham Clark tie for fourth. And 2024 Open champion Xander Schauffele and favorite son of Northern Ireland Rory McIlroy finish in a tie for seventh after acquitting themselves pretty well all week. Bo, your takeaways from Scottie Scheffler's first Open Championship victory?
Well, we can't call it flawless, but it was as close to flawless as you're going to get for an Open Championship. The scoring was pretty favorable. The Royal Portrush is just a really tough golf course, so even with premium scoring conditions, it wasn't that easy unless your name was Scottie Scheffler. He's just so good. He's a machine, and that's from tee to green. You expect him to be the best in the field, but the week before last at Scottish, he was 118th in strokes gained putting. He finished number 1 in total putts and number 2 in strokes gained putting in the whole field at the Open Championship. If Scottie's in the top 5 of putting, nobody has any chance, period. That's just it. Like, even if Scottie's in the top 40, he's probably going to win if he's putting well enough to be in the top 40. If he's putting number 1 or number 2 in the field, it's a shock that he only won by 4, honestly. That's how good he is from tee to green. And we thought for sure that he couldn't read the greens as well as other stateside greens, but he figured something out. And if Happy learned how to putt, there's no stopping him. Scottie Scheffler might not celebrate his win too long, but he's going to celebrate. And I mean, it was fun to watch. A lot of people call him boring. I think it's the opposite. We're watching greatness, and anytime we're witnessing greatness, I have to pinch myself because I get so excited to watch just how pristine his game is from every club in the bag. His mental game is insanely strong. This guy he's an all-time great already, and it's a privilege to watch that unfold at the Open Championship.
Yeah, Scottie, he wasn't great on the tee all week.
No.
He caught some good breaks. There were a couple of times where balls could have gone into the thick stuff and bounced and stayed up in the light stuff. But man, the distance control on his irons and wedges, the scrambling, I mean, the game around the green. And like you said, Bo, I mean, I know he was vexed by the fescue greens at the Scottish Open, not so much at Royal Portrush. He was dialed in. It was a sight to behold. Do we think it might have been closer if we had gotten some more Scottish weather? Because it looked like San Diego out there on the weekend.
Yeah, and that's kind of what surprised me, is that Scottie Scheffler dominates when the weather is good. And I think his game strategy hasn't really played out for Scottish weather or Northern Irish weather. The Open Championship is usually marked by great scoring conditions when the weather's perfect, and then unplayable conditions darn near when the weather is it's just when the wind is up. And Royal Portrush is a brutally difficult golf course when the wind is up. We just didn't get any wind, and so Scottie Scheffler's high ball flight, he's good at flighting it down, but his real strength is when he's just better than everybody else at gauging distance and hitting the center of the club face with his irons. And there's really no extra calculus to it when there's no wind to factor in, where you might see a Tommy Fleetwood or a Rory McIlroy or a Harry Hall kind of kick it into gear. Those are the Shane Lowrys of the world. Those guys need inclement weather to kind of equalize the field against Scottie Scheffler. We didn't get that, and honestly, it was his off the tee game that made it a mercy, kept it from being a mercy rule, like the 2000 Open Championship when Tiger blitzed the field with 19 under. It reminded me of that. It was not quite as dominant, but it was more of like, okay, if the wind doesn't pick up, nobody's got a chance to even catch him. And even Haotong Li was just like, I'm playing for second place here. I'm being realistic, and and that's refreshing to hear that he didn't know that he wasn't going to have a chance, but he also figured chances are Scottie's not going to beat himself.
Yeah, definitely not. And what a change in weather at Royal Portrush from 2019.
Yes.
One of the soggiest Open championships in history, probably, to sun, and looked like they were in Fiji or something for much of that tournament. But before we move on, Scottie's performance sort of rekindled the Scottie versus Tiger debate. We touched on that earlier this year briefly. Where do you think Scottie stands vis-a-vis Tiger in terms of all-time golf greatness?
I don't think he could attain what Tiger attained. Tiger completely reinvented the game of golf. Tiger saved the game of golf in the mid-90s. It went from a very much a fourth or fifth level sport on TV to must-see TV in the majors, and anytime he teed it up. So the level of greatness is probably comparable, especially since Scottie's doing this against stronger competition on tougher golf courses than Tiger did. At the same time, what Tiger did for the sport as greatness, I count that in. And I don't think Scottie has the personality or the want to be a Tiger Woods, and that's fine. I want to say the game is on par with Tiger, but what he's doing to invigorate the entire sport, it's just not there, because it's not that he wants to be there. And there's so many other talented players that can carry that torch for Scottie, and Scottie can just go out and keep winning tournaments and be ho-hum Family Guy. That's his place in the sport, and I don't fault him for it. I just don't think that we need to be putting those two side by side, because if you're saying vis-a-vis, Tiger is not reachable. He's a 700-yard par 5 into the wind. He's not reachable for anybody. That's just not going to happen. And I don't think Scottie's interested in reaching Tiger status. And Tiger's still Tiger. Like, if Tiger showed up to a tournament tomorrow, we'd be talking all about him and not about Scottie. What does that tell you at 50 years old?
Yeah, it does remind me sort of the Jordan LeBron debate. And
Sort of, yeah.
a lot of the people who bring it up, and people who sort of think that Scottie is on par with Tiger, where maybe people from the younger generation who weren't around for the best of Tiger. And, like, to me, Jordan was the competitive fires burn brighter in him than in any other NBA player ever. And I think you could say the same of Tiger Woods. And there were times when we saw, like, it wasn't necessarily the best players of Tiger's era besides Tiger who gave him the best battles. I mean, he got his best fights from some unexpected people: Rocco Mediate, Bob May, Chris DeMarco.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, those guys were playing the best they had ever played in their lives. And, like, it took a heroic effort from Tiger to beat those guys. And he still managed to beat all those guys when they brought their finest for him.
I don't think this is quite the lightning rod of topic like LeBron and MJ, because where I see LeBron is certainly an all-time great, I see him as the catalyst for that debate, because he came into the league as a high school graduate, straight in, wearing number 23, wanted to be like MJ. He wanted to be Air Jordan. He wanted to be the next Air Jordan, and he shot for the moon. And for a lot of people, he reached that status. He reinvented the game of basketball like MJ did in his era. So I think that those two are a lot closer than Scottie trying to reach a level of notoriety and all that Tiger reached that through complete dominance. Like, Scottie's winning tournaments and he's winning majors, but it's only been 3-4 years. And Tiger did this for a decade and a half straight. Yeah. So, if Scottie wants to be the legend of Tiger, he's going to have to keep up this pace for another decade straight. Good luck. I hope you do it. I don't know if he actually wants to, though. He might be riding off into the sunset long before that.
Great point. All right. Closing the book on the Open Championship. And by the way, Ryan Gerard won last week's Barracuda Championship here in the States. A nice win for the 25-year-old Gerard. Now we're on to the 3M Open. We'll get to it and the betting preview in just a moment. But first,
download the free BettingPros app for iOS and Android. With Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. Go ahead and create your own custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get your own 7-day free trial of BettingPros Premium by downloading the app at bettingpros.com/apps using code JUICE and activating your trial on the upgrade screen.
So after 2 weeks of links golf in Northern Europe, we are back in the U.S. for more familiar Parkland golf. The top players are sitting this one out in Minnesota, but it's a reasonably deep field for the 3M Open, and we're going to see a lot of the mid-level PGA Tour pros teeing it up this week to better position themselves for the FedEx Cup playoffs. The 3M Open will be played at TPC Twin Cities in Blaine, Minnesota. It's a par 71 that will play at 7,431 yards. The course was designed by Arnold Palmer with input from native Minnesotan Tom Lehman. TPC Twin Cities certainly isn't a difficult course by tour standards, but it's not without danger. There's water everywhere, not a drop to drink. Water comes into play on 15 holes at TPC Twin Cities. A lot of those water hazards will threaten players' tee shots, and a lot of those water hazards run down the right side of holes. Slicers beware.
Or lefty hook.
Lefty
shots.
Hookers. That's right. Yeah. Don't want to leave out my lefties.
I'm not a hooker, Pat, okay?
The fairways are pretty generous at TPC Twin Cities, and it has some big greens. We're going to see a higher than usual percentage of greens in regulation. So chipping and bunker play, scrambling won't be as important this week. The greens are bent grass. It's a fairly long course. Three of the four par threes are longer than 200 yards, and all three of the par fives are between 590 and 600 yards. That includes the 596 yard 18th hole. It's a risk reward par five. The play's shorter than its length if players are willing to try a risky second shot over a pond. Now, the defending 3M Open champ is Jhonattan Vegas. Johnny Vegas finished 17 under par last year to beat Max Greyserman by one shot. Lee Hodges was a runaway winner in 2023 with a score of 24 under par. Tony Finau was 17 under to win in 2022, and Cameron Champ won in 2021. He was 15 under. The weather forecast for the tournament, high temperatures in the low 80s all 4 days. Chances for rain each day, but no apparent danger of a washout. Light winds in the 5 to 10 mile per hour range throughout the tournament. Bo, now that we have a pretty good sample size on TPC Twin Cities, what are some of the things you're keying in on this week when handicapping the field?
It really comes down to ball striking. The opposite of the Open Championship is where you're looking at scrambling and around the green stats pretty heavily. I'm not looking at those at all this week. It's about off the tee prowess, strokes gained off the tee. Driving distance is a bonus in this tournament because of its length and the risk reward propositions on the par fives, as well as some of the longer par fours. Birdie or better percentage, of course, on an easier golf course like this. You got to have guys that have opportunities gained at a high rate, as well as B, the birdie or better percentage to convert those opportunities. So a lot of overlay there. And then this, because of all the water hazards, you got to throw in some bogey avoidance. Trying to avoid the big number blow up it's kind of killed a couple of potential winners like Greyserman, who I bet on last year, who probably would have won if he didn't find some hazards, some penalty areas during his course of the tournament. It all comes down to making lots of birdies and avoiding that really big crooked number. And then ball striking, approach game, driving. It's going to be really important to get from tee to green and then a hot putter. I'm looking at the last 24 rounds of putting on bent grass, and that should round it out. It's a pretty straightforward model this week. Not a lot of filtering. I just want to make sure that we get the hottest golfers playing the best golf right now, and the guys who can convert enough birdies to win this thing.
It'll be interesting because a lot of the players with shorter odds are big hitters who are not great in the driving accuracy category. We'll take a look at those odds in just a moment, right after Bo tells you about Novig.
Are you looking for a smarter way to play? There's a new sports trading platform that's changing the game. It's called Novig. It's legal in most states, including Georgia, California, and Texas. It's peer-to-peer, which means you're competing against other users, not the house. You can often get better lines than traditional books. You can set your own lines, which gives you control most sports books just don't offer. There are no commissions or hidden fees. Seriously. It uses a coin deposit system, but it is real money. And you can use code DAILYJUICE for 50% off your first coin purchase up to $25. Check it out now at bettingpros.com/juice. That's bettingpros.com/juice. Our colleague Mike Mayer is on it every day. He's a Novik fanatic, always dropping screenshots and pics in our company Discord. If you have questions, Mike Mayer is happy to help. Pat, he's almost insufferable in that Discord chat.
And in other ways too, but we
almost. It's not just the Novik stuff, but but he does win, so I guess it balances out.
That's right. Let's dig into the odds for the 3M Open. All odds are courtesy of DraftKings as of Monday afternoon. Sam Burns opens as the favorite at plus 1,600. Chris Gotterup was red hot in Scotland and Northern Ireland the past 2 weeks. He's plus 1,800, as is Maverick McNealy. Max Greyserman and Taylor Pendrith are plus 2,800. At plus 3,500 are Michael Thorbjornsen, Jake Knapp, Tony Finau, Davis Thompson, and Rickie Fowler. And the big group at plus 4,000 includes Akshay Bhatia, Max Homa, Kurt Kitayama, Keith Mitchell, Emiliano Grillo, Sungjae Im, and Siwoo Kim. Who do you like from this group, Bo?
Right off the top, I did see Sam Burns recently slip to 18-1 to be the same line as Chris Gotterup. I like Chris Gotterup's form, especially. His tee to green game has never been in question. His short game has really showed a resurgence, especially the last 2 weeks. He's won $2.7 million last 2 weeks. Pretty solid for a trip around the links a few times. I like him at 18-1 as the outright betting favorite. His tee to green game is really going to play here. His distance will definitely play here, and he's riding a hot putter. So let's get on the Chris Gotterup train and ride it until the wheels fall off. He's only 24 years old. He's got a lot of future ahead of him. As far as other guys in this range, I'll hone in on another guy who's a long hitter who makes a lot of birdies, especially in this type of tournament. I like Michael Thorbjornsen, and Akshay Bhatia, Kurt Kitayama. These guys are all in my model pretty highly ranked, but I'm going to go to Jake Knapp. Jake Knapp is the kind of guy that 35-1, the handicap system for me, I had him more of as a 25-1 pick in this field, and to get an extra 10 points out of the bet really sings to me. All the other guys that I like are a little too short for my liking based on how I handicapped it. So I will stick with Jake Knapp at 35-1 to round out the favorites.
Oh, I'm a Jake Knapp guy, Bo. He's finished inside the top 30 in each of his last 4 events, including
big siesta.
The big siesta, including a 4th place finish at the Rocket Classic.
Bingo.
Knapp did withdraw from last year's 3M Classic, ostensibly due to a shoulder injury or because he was having a miserable 3rd round. Knapp is a big hitter and ranks 12th in strokes gained putting, but he does rank 161st in driving accuracy. Bo, that's kind of the same deal with Chris Gotterup, too. Gotterup is 2nd on tour in driving distance, 157th in driving accuracy. Gotterup is I wonder if there's any sort of, could he be a little emotionally spent after 2 weeks of winning one and contending in another, and then coming back overseas. I feel like Jake Knapp gives you a very similar profile of player at a much better price.
It's definitely there. I like both of them. I'm going to bet on both of them. I'm not going to be over my skis investing a lot of money in any of these guys, but I have enough guys that I really like that I'm going to kind of buckshot approach it this week with small investments in a lot of guys. So I with the way I'm spending my money this week, I'll take a chance on both of them, but I do get your point with the line on Knapp is unbelievably good. And Gotterup as a favorite at 18-1. I'm just taking a chance that he stays hot. He, despite being not that accurate off the tee, he's still strokes gained off the tee number 8 in this field. Or actually number 6 in this field in strokes gained off the tee. That's good enough for me. 25th in overall ball striking, and riding the hottest putter of his entire career. That's where I'm going there. It's just the upside's good, and the payoff for a betting favorite, it doesn't get much better than 18-1.
Yeah. Now, Sam Burns couldn't crack the top 40 in either the Scottish Open or the Open Championship, but before that, he had finished top 20 in 7 of his previous 8 events dating back to April. Burns has made 3 previous appearances at the 3M Open, finishing 7th, 32nd, and 12th, and he does rank number 1 in strokes gained putting. Now, Maverick McNealy played reasonably well in Europe the last 2 weeks, 22nd in Scotland, 23rd at Royal Portrush. He finished 3rd at the 3M last year. McNealy ranks inside the top 40 both strokes gained off the tee and strokes gained putting. What about Wyndham Clark, Bo? Heated up in Europe, 11th at the Scottish Open, then surged into 4th place at the Open Championship with that 65 on Sunday. But he ranks 138th in driving accuracy, 157th in strokes gained on approach.
Not interested at all in Wyndham Clark. He's just too spray happy. He got the benefit of some light winds on a wide open golf course. Like Royal Portrush wasn't difficult to find the fairways. It was just kind of like you just only missed them if you ran through them, like you carried the ball too far. Wyndham Clark really fits that link style play better because he plays along the ground a little bit more. I just don't think he's accurate enough on approach for this tournament. I think he'd be fine off the tee, but his approach game's not been good. So I'll take a hard pass on Wyndham Clark, especially since he's just kind of been streaky in the worst way, where just when we think he's going to get hot, he throws out a miscut by 5 shots, and you're just like, okay, what happened to Wyndham Clark? All of a sudden he went from number 6 in the world to 20 in like 2 week span. So I don't think I want anything to do with that.
Just to mention a few of these other guys, Max Greyserman, runner-up at the 3M Open last year. He missed the cut at the Scottish Open and the Open Championship, but had been playing pretty well before that. He's 149th in driving accuracy, but his driving didn't really hurt him here last year. Taylor Pendrith missed the cut at the Open Championship. He'd been playing well before that, too. He was 5th at the 3M last year, ranked 7th in strokes gained off the tee, but he's outside the top 100 in strokes gained putting. Emiliano Grillo has a pretty good track record in this event with 3 top 10s in his last 5 appearances, plus a 24th last year. And really Grillo's worst, the worst thing about his game is his scrambling. And that weakness is sort of negated here with the big greens and high greens and regulation percentage. And Rickie Fowler, Bo, quietly finished top 20 in 5 of his last 8 events. His best finish other than that, over that stretch, though, was only a 7th at the Memorial.
I will keep tabs on Taylor Pendrith. I hate his line right now, plus 2,800, way too short.
Yeah.
But if he slips, he's number 3 in my model. So if Pendrith gets to 35-1, I'll be interested.
All right, let's look at some more of the odds. Adam Scott is plus 4,500. Luke Clanton, Kevin Yu, and Cameron Champ are plus 5,000. Alex Smalley, Matt Wallace, Lee Hodges, Jesper Svensson, Vince Whaley, and Rico Hoye are plus 5,500. And at plus 6,000 are Patrick Fishburne, Nicholas Norgard, Johnny Vegas, Jacob Bridgman, Haotong Li, Sam Stevens, and Sahith Theegala. And at plus 6,500, Alex Noren, Matty Schmidt, and Pearson Coody. What about the mid-range options, Bo?
Luke Clanton all the way. Number 1 in my model by a long distance.
Really?
Luke Clanton by far number 1 in my model. He is no worse than 49th in any stat, which happens to be bogey avoidance. He happens to be a very aggressive player, so not the greatest at avoiding the big number, but 49th is still top half of the pack. He's number 1 in birdies or better gain, number 5 in opportunities gained, so he's giving himself lots of chances, and he's converting them at an extremely high clip. Number 2 in ball striking, 24th in putting on my model, and number 4 in approach. He hits all the boxes for me. There's just one concern that he might make some crooked numbers, but he's been really good at making enough birdies to counteract that. If he could put 4 days together rather than 3, I think Luke Clanton runs away with this thing. And 50-1 is a steal. I kind of had to flip a coin between him at 50 and Thor Bjornsson at 40, and the tiebreaker was Thor Bjornsson can't make a putt lately. So I was all over that Clanton line, getting extra bit of value there. And then Patrick Fishburne, another guy that's just a great ball striker. He's number 1 in strokes gained off the tee in this field, 4th in overall ball striking, 15th in birdie or better percentage. Just great odds for a player that's playing really well. And then 80 to 1 I have Kevin Roy because he's got all the upside in the world. He's playing a little bit shaky on the link style, but when it comes to playing on bent grass, Kevin Roy's got some upside to burn.
Yeah, interesting. You might be talking me into Clanton. Hasn't really gotten it going yet, but like you said, there have been moments and he just can't seem to string 4 rounds together in a tournament. So maybe this is the week. Um, Adam Scott at plus 4,500 seems like a bargain. We're getting a big name at relatively long odds, but if this event is going to be largely a putting contest and maybe it does turn into that, do we want to back Adam Scott in a putting contest? I don't.
I don't.
Yeah. Cam Champ has a pretty strong history at the 3M. He won this event in 2021. In the 2 3M appearances since, he's finished 16th and 12th. Before missing the cut at the Barracuda last week, Champ had finished top 20 in 3 of his previous 4 events. So he's one to keep an eye on. NorCal. Haotong Li is kind of interesting after the strong showing at the Open, but it seemed like he was barely in control of his driver. And Haotong Li hits everything left to right, Bo. That is kind of a scary proposition on a course that has so much water on the right side of holes.
Yeah. It's a great story, though.
It is. And Johnny Vegas, not only did he win here last year, he also finished second here in 2021. Maybe driving accuracy isn't that big a deal here. Johnny Vegas was 128th in that category last year. He's 156th this year. All right, let's talk long shots, Bo. Who do you like at odds of 70 to 1 or longer?
I jumped the gun a little bit with 80 to 1 on Kevin Roy, but I do like Hayden Springer again this week. He finished top 10 at the Barracuda, but Springer just a really solid golfer, 110 to 1. Just an overall solid player. Doesn't really have any weak spots. Chan Kim is playing really well right now. He's at 170 to 1. And I'll take another NorCal guy at 200 to 1. I actually got to chat with him at the Barracuda on Saturday. Isaiah Salinda. Talk about a birdie making machine. That kid can make them in bunches. He hits the snot out of the ball. Salinda is a kind of a fun $5 bet to throw down. 200 to 1, win $1,000 off a $5 bet. He's already won us money at the Zurich this year next to Kevin Velo. I just like him a lot. He's such a fun guy to have on tour, and I'll keep betting on him because that's good. It's incentive to watch more.
All right, I'll throw out 3 long shots at various price points. At 70 to 1, Andrew Putnam. He's done well in some recent events with lesser fields, 8th at the Rocket Classic, 11th at the Barracuda. He was also 6th at the Canadian Open, so he can go against some stronger fields. He's finished 11th and 19th in his last 2 3M appearances. One of the shortest hitters on tour, but Putnam does rank 4th in driving accuracy and 15th in strokes gained putting. Thriston Lawrence. Oh, the South African, pretty good driver of the ball. And he
almost made my card. He almost made it. Yeah.
He's had some good showings in America this year. 12th at the US Open, 8th at the Rocket Classic. And I'll throw in one deep sleeper, Englishman David Skins at 200 to 1. Skins was 4th at the ISCO Championship 2 weeks ago, 8th at the Barracuda this past week, and he finished 24th at the 3M Open last year. All right, Bo, let's compare early betting cards. Who do you have on yours?
So we got a lot of small ones here. We got Chris Gotterup at 18 to 1, Jake Knapp 35 to 1, Michael Thorbjornsen at 40 to 1. If I can get him a little longer, I haven't put a lot on him yet. Luke Clanton's getting the full ladder at 50 to 1. Patrick Fishburne 60 to 1, Kevin Roy 80 to 1, Hayden Springer 110 to 1, Chan Kim 170 to 1, and finally Isaiah Salinda 200 to 1.
I'm keeping my card relatively light for now. You've almost got me talked into Luke Clanton, but for now it's Jake Knapp at 35 to 1, Emiliano Grillo at 40 to 1, horse for a course. I kind of like Grillo this week. Thriston Lawrence at 120 to 1, and David Skins for probably $2 at 200 to 1. Now for our one and done picks, I took Tyrrell Hatton last week. He fell down the leaderboard on Sunday, finished tied for 16th, earning me $185,257. Bo took Rory McIlroy. He tied for 7th, good for $451,833. Bo ups his lead on me to about $850,000. And we only have a few weeks left since we're not including the Tour Championship in our competition. I'm up first this week, Bo. I have some concerns that he might be out of gas after the 2 great weeks in Europe, but I do have to go with the blazing hot Chris Gotterup. Who are you taking?
That's who I was going to pick. Let's see. I want to make sure I haven't used him. I used him. Man, this is rough. I burned through all my good guys. This is not great.
You still have Jake Knapp in the bag if you want to double down.
Yeah, let's do it. Jake Knapp.
All right.
Yeah, it's either him or Fishburne, and I don't think I want to do that.
Jake Knapp for Bo and Chris Gotterup for me. That's all for this week's Betting Pros PGA podcast. Please join us again next week when we'll be previewing the final tournament before the FedEx Cup playoffs, the Wyndham Championship. Until then, so long, everyone.